What up, guys? That Comic Awesome here, doing another review wrap-up. This is going to be a Titan twofer. This is the Titans Annual number 2 and Teen Titans number 19. Both, I believe, are going to be the last issues. If not, then at least the last issues in their respective story arcs as well. Just because they both kind of hint that, for more action, you have to read No Justice. So let's start off with Teen Titans number 19. This wraps up the It Ain't Easy Being Green story arc. The basic premise is Beast Boy fell into a crowd of, I want to say, loners who use an escape of virtual reality, but it turns out that it is this one girl's form of mind control, and she is then able to control everyone who, has one of their cybernetic implants. And again, it's kind of a, I want to say like a heartbreaking story that, somebody in like this, in a team, team setting, like Beast Boy, can feel alone and kind of out of it, where, his teammates genuinely do like him. Now, he may end up being the butt of some jokes and this and that, but I genuinely don't think that, like, Starfire, Robin, Aqualad, Raven, or Kid Flash have any animosity towards Beast Boy, but, in this, they, they're called bullies and stuff like that, and that's a tactic that there's this, it's like this new wave of, like, mental manipulative bullies out there that they may not be the strong, like, a bully to me nowadays is not somebody who beats you up, that kind of bully. I think the percentage of that is so low nowadays. What you probably get is more of the mental abuse, cyberbullying and stuff like that, which then poured on to kids, the way it is, tends to make kids snap, because there's no way, kind of around it. Back in the day, little Johnny, pissed you off, you hit him in the face, you both kind of like looked at each other and you're like, okay, that's done. Now you hit, a kid bullies you, you hit him back, then his parents are going to sue your parents because, he didn't get in, to his clarinet recital on time, or this and that. So, tragedy. I'm spinning off onto a completely different subject than this book, but anyway. It was fairly good for me. Again, as a wrap-up to a story arc, I enjoyed it. As a wrap-up to an event, or not an event, to a full run, if this does end up being the last Teen Titans, at least with this team, I'd be a little disappointed. I want to see more of them. But again, you get some good stuff with Robin, some good emotion out of him that, he sits here and where is it? He talks about not being able, he's like, Jordan gave Beast Boy the one thing I couldn't. He's like, what? Raven says, love. Because he sits there and he's like, he's trying to convince Beast Boy to, like, come back, this and that, and Jordan's like, look, I know what you did. You pretty much abused your whole team. You're a bully, and it being called a bully, that's pretty hurtful, especially when you're not. But there's some good stuff in there. I liked Robin's kind of trick at the end, and it kind of spoilers. I'm gonna show the end, but it kind of shows that Beast Boy, even though she is in prison, Beast Boy still cares about her. So he's trying to, make amends for putting her there. Next, Titans, kind of the same thing. This one wraps up a little bit. Again, this is an annual, so I was expecting a little bit more. To me, and this is just me, an annual should almost be... I'd prefer an annual almost to be a independent story, if not like the kickoff to something huge. This, they use the annual as the wrap-up to something huge. Roy pretty much was, after the Titans broke up, Roy went solo, discovered that there was this drug being sold. Turns out this drug was allowing brain to form like a neural network of latent brain functions across its users. So as more people started using this drug, the stronger his consciousness got. Once it got so high, he was able to control weather, pretty much everything. It starts off, he's at about 96%. If he gets to 100, he's able to transcend the physical form, and pretty much is a god at that point. The Justice League is kind of wrapped up, and what I like here, much like any character in comics that becomes too smart, the inevitable flaw of seeing a threat that is beneath them. And this is one of those things where it's like, it happens time and time again. You'd think that somebody in comics would sit there and go like, oh no, there's a puny hero here to stop me, like, I'm going to give that my full attention, take care of the problem, and then go back to what I was doing. So, Roy and Donna show up. They're, kicking ass and taking names. And I like them working as a team. And I like this, you get his side, you get her side, and he pretty much talks about how he screwed up. I'm putting everybody in danger by doing this. And Donna's like, look, I didn't trust him. I should have trusted him. And now we're in this situation. So they're both kind of like hitting themselves a little hard. What I also found funny, not funny, I actually really enjoyed, it was annoying when I was reading it, but then I appreciate it. Nightwing and Flash show up. Wally Flash, not actual Flash. And kind of save the day. But Roy kind of still has a chip on his shoulder about the whole thing. And he's like, oh, you're only here, you're only here to, like, prove yourself to the Justice League. Like, you're only here to help because Nightwing wants to help. Like, not because, you were wrong and this and that. And, Donna's like, hey, chill out. Which, when I first read this, because he kind of, like, Wally apologizes, Dick kind of apologizes, but then Roy keeps harping on it. And the first time I read it, I was like, oh, God, like, dude, shut up. Like, your friends are here to help you. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, if you were utterly betrayed by the people you trusted and hoped trusted you, and they, like, just assume you were, like, back to being a junkie and this and that, you'd be really, really hurt. But Dick kind of comes up with this, he's like, look, Wally and I came back to you because it's you. It isn't about it has nothing to do with the League. We're friends. He's like, we're friends, Roy's Titans together. So he's like, fine, that'll, I'll take that. So, he still has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, but I'm glad that he finally, like I said, he harps on it for a good couple pages, and then it finally kind of resolves itself, and, it's a little more satisfying. There's a pretty nice resolution, but again, I'm gonna, spoiler, I'm gonna show the last page, just because, it has, the Titans' adventure continues in No Justice #1, which leads me to believe again that I don't think there are going to be any more Titan issues. Which again, this used to be. It is my favorite team book. I think out of the several team books that I've read or have been reading, this one is written so well to the fact that, again, each character sounds completely independent of the rest of them. So many teen books nowadays are just echo chambers where you have all of these players that are essentially on the same side, which, I mean, they're all good guys, but they're, they all think alike. Outside of being superheroes, they would be like the super bestest friends, like dolls just like printed off in a factory. These feel like people, they're friends, but they're not the same. They have different ideas, They think this way, they think that way, they know, but that they're not, they're not the same, but they can come together, work together, and defeat, the greater odds. So, but yeah, definitely I'm going to miss these two series. Yeah, that's it. Can't wait to see maybe what is in store for these two squads later. Subscribe over here, watch some more videos, hit me up in the comments, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you next time.